Yeah, that's a great question, Carl. Actually, I think, actually, John, sorry. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, by the time you get the launch, actually, most of the features have been leaked and you've known most of the features ahead of the launch. And the lackluster share price performance, I think, is not surprising. You see that every year. But when you're really looking at the upgrade rate and what's going to drive the upgrade, you should be comparing the product not to last year, but 2 years ago, really, right? That most of the devices now have an average life cycle of 2+. And so what we really want to fall back on is the iPhone 12 to the iPhone 13 might be a modest upgrade. It's kind of what you see optically, but really should be looking at the install base. That's about 800, 900 million iPhone users who have 4G iPhones looking to upgrade, and there's a big jump for them. I mean, we can go into more details about that, but essentially you have a better camera, you have a better processor, you have the 5G offering as well. And that in itself sets up for an upgrade cycle where you're looking at anyone with the iPhone 11 or older phone to really upgrade.
Well, to me, this is the first time that the Pro line, the 13 Pro and Pro Max, really are clearly set apart. Not just, there's another circle camera on the back, but the features, what you can accomplish with that macro mode, with some of that rack focus, the quality and workflow, it really does seem to set it apart. And it seems to me that a big part of this, in a way, aren't these phones cheaper than last year because of the level of carrier subsidy and the fact that Apple didn't hike the price on this in this inflationary environment?
Yeah, that is exactly what we see as the positive from an announcement that others are calling lackluster. Keep in mind the pricing. With all the inflationary kind of background that we're seeing on the supply chain, the pricing being consistent with iPhone 12 is the first positive. They're shipping and available on time, which is the other big positive, because if you remember on the last earnings call, Apple did talk about potential delays here. And then thirdly, if anyone's in doubt about how important this iPhone cycle is, just look at the trade-in values and the carrier subsidies on this, right? They all recognize this is what the consumers want. This is what they're looking to upgrade into. And they see it as a market share opportunity as well. And effectively, that makes it much easier for the consumer to upgrade into these devices. Totally agree with you on this. This is still a major upgrade cycle, still a major cycle, even though the updates to last year might seem modest at this point.
Samik, it's Carl here. I know we're waiting for some of the first order data coming in maybe tomorrow, but already we're getting some Chinese reports that, at least in China, consumers there are ordering more of the 13 on JD.com than they did on the same platform a year ago. Do you think that's going to be reflective of the early order information?
We track that as well, and we start doing that as the pre-orders start coming in. So we will get that process started here internally as well. I think what you'll see is that will be largely consistent across the globe. Even talking to kind of colleagues, etc., on the floor itself, it seems there's a lot of excitement in moving to the iPhone 13 product cycle, primarily because a lot of people are still on that 4G phone. So it's not surprising with the price point that John just mentioned that this is turning out to be a very attractive product cycle or a product that consumers want to upgrade into. 5G as a network is also becoming more widely kind of available across geographies, and you're seeing consumers realize and become more aware that there's a 5G network that they can now leverage. And I think that really helps, along with the carrier subsidies, is going to really drive a strong order book here or strong order pattern here for Apple across the globe. And we'll start to track the US as well tomorrow, but I expect that to remain consistent.